as he presided over the raising of national colors and the flag of the Alliance of Sahel States Confederation, with the first ever performance of the AES anthem that is termed as Sahel Benkan on the Monday of June 9, 2025, the president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore, told his countrymen that their country is not as poor as how the enemy has been trying to portray it. The 37-year-old leader told his people and those of the Sahel that Burkina Faso, just like the rest of the Sahel region, is a very rich country that is endowed with plenty of natural resources that can easily catapult it into prosperity, and that actually that is the source of the problems and terror attacks that it has been witnessing over the recent years. That, the enemy has been using the attacks to cause destabilization with the aim to ultimately access the country's resources and illegally exploit them and enrich himself while leaving or plunging the burkinabes in abject poverty. He also revealed that there have been several attempts by foreign powers to have the three countries making up the Alliance of Sahel States Confederation betray each other, with instances of the imperialists approaching some of them and offering handsome returns for them to withdraw from the bloc so that it may collapse. That, however, the Burkinabe is specifically someone who is very brave and very resilient, and will ultimately defeat the enemy to not only regain peace, but also chart the path to prosperity, and little by little, the Alliance of Sahel States Confederation continues marching forward despite all the difficulties and all challenges, and without saying much, listen to what he said on that occasion.
Camarades, bonjour.
Dear comrades, good morning. So we are in the last month of the first half of the year 2025. I hope we can use this month to start thinking about the prospects for the second half and see what worked in our administrations and what didn't. And as you can see this morning, we have just raised the flag with the Confederation's anthem, which is another step we are taking in our union. This is not without difficulty because unity is difficult, especially in Africa. It's difficult to unite, but it's the solution. We have to unite. Little by little, the AES continues on its forward march despite all the difficulties, all the challenges before us. If I were naive, I would ask myself why the imperialists don't want this union. But I'm not naive. I know why. And this is the same question that those who still tend to sleep must ask themselves. Why don't they want us to unite? Why does the Confederation scare or hurt some people so much? Because we are approached every day by these imperialists to get one of the three to betray the other. We have been faced with this for a long time. Each time, these kinds of maneuvers are there to get you to leave the Confederation. And that should make us think. And when we look at our relationships, there is no friendship. In fact, the world is all about interests. People only come to us for their own interests. We must be well aware of this. They will fight us, they will continue to fight us, but we will emerge victorious and strong. We must not take these situations that we are experiencing and feel sorry for ourselves. On the contrary, it should strengthen us. We must emerge very strong from this war, understand why we are expected to be attacked, build ourselves up and ensure that in the coming century we do not experience this kind of situation. That is what we must keep in mind. So I invite everyone to redouble their efforts because the Burkinabe is known as someone who is very courageous, very hard-working, very resilient, and we must work to improve these values. Wherever you go, in Africa or elsewhere in the world, you will find the Burkinabe. And it is these values that qualify and identify the Burkinabe. So we must do everything possible to be honest men, as the name of the country says, to be courageous, resilient people, full of self-sacrifice, and redouble our efforts in everything we do, not just for the happiness of Burkina Faso, but also for the happiness of our Confederation. That is very important. And once we have reached a certain level, you will understand even better why we were fought. Because our country is rich, rich in its human value, rich in its moral values, but above all rich in its subsoil. And it is these riches that are coveted, but these riches must benefit the burkinabes. Nothing has yet begun in terms of exploitation of natural resources and remuneration, therefore at the level of the popular masses, we can change the face of our country. We can leave this situation of underdevelopment and we find ourselves very quickly in an emerging country. It is enough to work, it is necessary that everyone gets involved. As much as the fighters sacrifice themselves at the front, it is necessary that in the administration, we also manage to sacrifice ourselves. It is necessary that we can make sure to work beyond what we are used to doing, to push our capacities further, because as I said, we must go very quickly, and it is by going quickly that we can surprise those who seek to divide us, those who seek to keep us in our situation of poverty. Burkina is not poor, I tell you. I repeat, we are very rich, and that is our major problem. It is for this wealth that they do not want us to be able to know, first that we are rich, and to be able to exploit our wealth. And beyond Burkina, the entire Sahel is immensely rich, and I know that you all know the Sahel will not remain poor. We will continue on our way, continue to build the AES to be very resilient, make the AES an area of total security to be able to properly exploit the resources, and that it can therefore benefit our popular masses. On this, I invite you therefore to pass this message to all your loved ones. It is necessary to sacrifice ourselves here, behind in the offices, to be able to support those who are at the front. So I wish you a very good week, a very good month of June, and a very good end of the first semester. And see you soon to face the second semester with more energy, more self-denial and more courage. Homeland or death, we will win.